Hello, this is Archie Dunlop with Talking Astrology with Archie on Monday, June the 5th, 2023. If you're starting a war, you need to get it right, and that might mean consulting an astrologer. Getting it right means choosing the right time to start that first aggressive action. Of course, it's not just wars, it's business enterprises, as I've already discussed, weddings, marriages, anything that has a finite moment to start. You can use astrology to select that moment. So today is the anniversary of the beginning of the Six-Day War. It started at 7:45 a.m. Israel time on June the 5th, 1967, when Israel attacked, I think, the Arab Air Forces. I'm not a great expert on it, but I just noticed that today was the anniversary, and it was a very quick war. I think that Israel destroyed everything it attacked, and it only lasted 6 days. So I thought it might be a good idea to look at the chart for that attack. And I'm not saying anything spectacular is in the chart. I'm just looking at it because you might find it interesting. So here is the start of the war. I've said it for Tel Aviv, but probably one should more reasonably go for some Egyptian airfield. But things are quite close in that part of the world, so I don't think the chart would be that different in Cairo than in Tel Aviv. So actually, I don't think this chart is particularly spectacular. I found it a bit boring. But I would have said that if you're dealing with a war, where you've got a clear aggressor, the aggressor would be the ascendant. The aggressor is the person who started it. The seventh house is the other side. So Cancer was rising. Cancer would be rising in Tel Aviv, in Cairo. It wouldn't really matter where. And so the ruler of Cancer is the moon in Taurus. So the moon would describe Israel, and the moon in Taurus would of course describe Israel very well, because Israel is a Taurean country. Now the reason Israel is a Taurean country is because it became a nation when the sun was in Taurus. But also the earth is very important to Israelis. You think of the promised land and all that kind of stuff, and so that has got to be Taurus. And you think of the tradition, the beginning of Israel, the kibbutzes, and the importance of agriculture. Again, that really is very Taurean. And so, moon in Taurus certainly fits Israel. The other side would be there's Capricorn. Ruler of Capricorn is Saturn. There's Saturn in Aries. Now, the moon in Taurus is, in a sense, is well placed because it's exalted in Taurus. Plus, it's conjunct the North Node. In traditional Western in traditional Western astrology, conjunctions to the North Node are fortunate. Now, Saturn, it may be at the top of the chart, but it is it's fallen because Saturn is exalted in Libra, and it is therefore fallen in Aries. So you could say, well, the moon is in a better position than Saturn, therefore it was a successful attack by the Israelis and they got to win the war. it's probably more complicated than that. Saturn is a daytime planet. It was a daytime attack, so Saturn gained strength because of that. Moon, by contrast, is a nighttime planet, and so the moon isn't so strong during the day. But I don't know. I would have said that there are some problems with Saturn, which are shown in that chart. I'm not saying that chart, by the way, says for sure that Israel would win the war. I'm just showing you what a chart looks like for the beginning of a war. The moon fits Israel, but I'm not absolutely convinced that it shows for sure that the aggressor would win. Anyway, let's now talk about today's astrology. And today is Monday, June the 5th, 2023. And here's the chart, set it for New York at noon. So the moon is now in Capricorn. And this means that a lot of us are going to be more grounded. We're going to be focusing on material stuff. And I think we're going to be anxious to put our own interests first. So it could be a time when many of us are selfish. And I really don't think that's anything to be ashamed of. People with moon in Capricorn do tend to put their own interests first. They can relax to a certain extent when their own interests are not at stake, but as soon as they see their interests, their family's interests are under threat, they will act quickly to protect themselves. And the moon is actually quite well aspected. You'll see that the moon in Capricorn is making a trine to Jupiter. That's very fortunate. So if we want to start something of a business nature, financial nature, now might be the time to do it. So that is good. And also you'll see that the moon is making a trine to Jupiter, and then it makes a sextile to Saturn. So sextile to Saturn is about creating stability. So if we've got something in our life that is maybe a bit of a mess, we're not sure what's going on, now's the time to sort it out, to put it on a firm footing. I should point out that Saturn and the moon, if you are a Cancerian or a Capricorn, then the Moon-Saturn sextile could actually be quite good for relationships. So if there's someone who you want to get close to, and you're a Cancer or a Capricorn, now might be your chance to do it. Now, there's something else going on, and you'll see that Venus is moving into Leo. And the moment it moves into Leo, it makes an opposition aspect to Pluto. So in terms of relationships, this could be quite intense. There are going to be some powerful feelings. Venus in Leo, Leo is a fixed sign. Strong feelings, we're not going to let go of them. So there could be a lot of jealousy and a lot of emotional intensity. But we shouldn't just see it in terms of Venus as being the planet of love. We should also see Venus as being a potential trigger. Now, let me explain what I mean here. Let's look at Zelensky's chart, President of Ukraine. You'll notice that he has got his Mars at 0 degrees Leo. So that means that today he's going to have Venus conjunct his Mars. So, in one sense, that might seem to be a good thing. You know, Venus on the Mars, it makes him charismatic, allows him to maybe make new relationships with world leaders. Is he continuing his world tour? I don't quite know what he's doing at the moment. But that might seem to be the fortunate, how Venus on his Mars might be fortunate. But we know that Pluto is opposition his Mars. This has been going on for some time. So this is, in general, is quite a difficult time for him, because Mars is a planet of assertion. Pluto's opposition his Mars. So he's under a lot of pressure from his enemies. Certainly his enemies in terms of Russia, but possibly also his enemies closer to home. You know, I think that Ukraine is quite a fractious society. There are a lot of rivalries going on. We then have Venus coming along and being opposition Pluto. And so in a way, Venus is triggering Pluto. So it may not be the fact that Venus is a planet of love. It may be that Venus is a trigger. It's putting more pressure on his Mars. So I don't know what Zelensky is doing today, but he may be able to make use of his charisma, but he also needs to be a little careful. So, as far as the 12 signs are concerned, here are my forecasts for the 12 signs. Here we go. Aries, you're a real star, showing the world how organized and brilliant you are. But criticism can be useful. Taurus, it's okay to have a high opinion of yourself, provided you demonstrate your talents, but don't push it. Gemini, you're sharp, and you notice things that other people miss. But I would suggest that you keep your observations to yourself. Cancer, on your own, you can't achieve much, but with the right partner, you'll cover a huge amount of ground. Leo, you're developing a certain charm which forces you to deal with people in a new way. Be sensible. Virgo, you know how the world works, and you can put your knowledge into practice. Creativity brings money. Libra, it's not enough to be successful. You have to move towards the fulfillment of your long-term wishes. Scorpio, it's okay to have a high opinion of yourself, and what you see in the mirror is the real you. But be nice. Sagittarius, your sex appeal is at the top of a range, and you get your way with few problems. Money-wise, you're lucky. Capricorn, you are at the centre of the universe, pulling strings but also being sensible. And you are right about most things. Aquarius, someone is arriving on the scene, and soon enough they'll want to get close to you. Look around. Pisces, you are an attractive person and you're not short of admirers, but listen to your friends' sensible advice. So that's the astrology for today. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look at the I Ching. As usual, I threw 3 coins, asking the question, what is Monday going to be like for visitors to this channel? And so the first hexagram I got was hexagram number 29, the abyss. Yeah, a big hole in the ground. It's a dangerous situation. Things are tricky, and I think we might find that we are in danger of being complacent. There's something dangerous around us that we're very used to. This danger has been ever present. It's been present for so long that we've kind of almost ignored it. But today we need to be careful. That danger that we've ignored for so long could suddenly bite us. So I would suggest that you're really careful. Now, that doesn't mean to say that you're in a position to do something drastic to avoid the danger. It's many of us actually may find ourselves in a situation where it's unwise to do anything. It's unwise to move forward, obviously, because it's a dangerous situation. But even backing away has its own dangers. So possibly what we have to do is to stay put and, just observe the situation, just make as little noise as possible, and just wait for the situation to resolve. And it will resolve. I mean, I haven't got a picture for it, but the hexagram, the abyss, changes to hexagram number 5, which is waiting. And here we get the image of just waiting for something to happen. And this time, it's not something bad, it's actually something good. That we go through the danger, the outside danger, the probability of anything bad happens starts to subside. And soon enough, we find ourselves waiting for good news. We mustn't push it. Just let it happen, because something good does seem to be on the way. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say for today, and I will talk to you tomorrow.